going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting and emotional and just tragic episode of the Viall Files, Bachelorette Finale Recap Edition. I'm your host, Nick, joined by Allie and Amanda, and our special guest, Scheana Marie from Vanderpump Rules.
Hello.
A little reality TV crossover.
Yeah,
I've been dying to have you on to recap The Bachelor just in general. I know you've been a big Bachelor fan for some time.
Yeah, I wanted to be the Bachelorette, and Brock ruined my dreams of that.
Well,
but I got my happy ending,
so
it's okay.
There you go. Lots to get into. Before we do, just a couple housekeeping notes. I have good news. I have bad news. I'm going to start with bad news first.
Yeah, always bad news first.
We will not be having anyone from Bachelor Nation for Going Deeper this week. Sorry.
Damn.
I feel like there needs to be a live studio audience being like, "Aww."
I know we usually do. We usually have someone coming from the studio. That's not happening this week. However, the good news is that, well, the good news is we still have an amazing guest this week. Harry Jowsey is with us to talk about his breakup. His breakup. He just broke up with his girlfriend.
It's fresh. It's raw.
He probably is going to have another breakup at some point.
His latest breakup.
The newest.
No, but we had a great conversation with him. Obviously, there's also a lot to talk about with the Adam Levine of it all. That drama that has been unfolding, that is still unfolding. We get into that, as well as we even tackle the little bit of the Love is Blind reunion and that whole fiasco. So certainly a lot to get into on Going Deeper this week. And then next week on Going Deeper, Tino will be with us. The exclusive podcast interview.
Wow.
Tino. I've been told we will be getting Tino for reasons that I'm sure we all understand. We were told that it'd just be best that maybe we wait, that tonight might be a little bit too much to try to make happen, which after watching tonight, I fully understand.
Totally.
More good news. The following week, we will be getting the exclusive interview with Jason. Gabby's Jason.
Oh.
Yeah. What happened? What was the conversation they had in the fantasy suite? Why did Jason leave? He wasn't even part of AFR. Once Jason left the show, he was just gone.
Yeah.
But he will be with us for Going Deeper. Not next week, not this week, but the week after. So a lot of all you reality TV fans out there, we are working hard to bring you what you deserve. And when it comes to Tino, so many unanswered
You sound
questions.
like Rachel. What you deserve.
Yeah. Yeah. But yes, we have a lot of questions for Tino.
What's one of them?
How dare you?
Well, I'll tell you what's one of them. I want to know what this cryptic, when Rachel and Tino were talking, this kind of cryptic, like what they were referring to is
there
when
are
Rachel's
reasons
the
that
personal
we
reasons.
were going through it,
yeah,
and we don't want to tell the public what these reasons are that we were going through it.
I mean,
Yeah.
we want to know. I don't know if Tino will share.
I feel like it has to be intimacy issues.
It
you
could
know?
be something with family too, though. Like when she said
True.
personal
Okay,
things,
totally.
his parents didn't really have a liking for her. Maybe that continued to go bad.
And Tino did actually say tonight, I don't know if it was the live portion or it was the recorded portion. He's like, I really don't want to bring family into this.
Right. He did say that.
Oh, okay.
He said that on the live portion because I was thinking, because her family's sitting right here. Maybe that's why he's saying it.
Yeah.
But he did say that.
So I guess let's just get into it.
Stay
I also
tuned.
feel like just something else that I plan on asking Tino, and Scheana was talking about this earlier, of like, we never got the actual breakdown of the situation with this other girl that he had known before the show. What exactly went down? And
how did it spark back up?
Exactly.
Who
We
reached
want
out to
those
who?
details.
Did they
Where did
run
you
in-
go?
Did
Where
they
did
run
you
into
kiss?
each other
Was
at the
there
bar?
tongue?
Did
Was
they
there
plan
tongue?
on meeting at the bar?
Was there coitus? Was it just making out?
Yeah.
We don't really know.
Was it even a makeout? Was it just a kiss and an immediate regret? Was there
Yeah.
tongue? Like,
Was it
you
just
guys
like
got to get the
heavy
details.
breathing?
Right?
Yeah.
Because it never sounds good when the cheater says it wasn't a big deal.
It was
a little
tiny.
thing. It was tiny, he said. But I mean, there are degrees. Like if
Yes, there
are degrees.
It could be.
I mean, cheating is
cheating.
cheating.
Exactly.
But
It could have been worse, but it's still bad. It's still not okay.
Still wrong.
It's like some infinities are bigger than others.
Either way, it's wrong. It's cheating. But I think if we were all in relationships and we found out that our significant other, let's say, romantically held hands with someone for 10 minutes,
Dead.
Or they had like an orgy, 2 different reactions.
Yeah, I want to go through with him and like talk about all the things that were contested between him and Rachel on the show and be like, what is your take on this? Why do you think there is this discrepancy in the way that you remember this?
Yeah.
Because there was so much of it where it just felt like there was a lot of he said, she said. And what did you make of that?
It also just felt like their conversation in that house when they were having the happy couples weekend, it felt like they were just on 2 different pages. Like Rachel was over here saying, you've never even apologized. Are you even sorry? And he was like, do you even see a future between the 2 of us? Like it was just, it was all over the place.
But that could also be editing where they had the full conversation, but they're showing one side of one part of the conversation and one side of the other.
That tape part was also edited. And
yeah.
I'm sure that was an hour.
Yeah, because I know I've firsthand witnessed those type of conversations where I'm like, that's not what that person said then.
So hopefully, like I said, we are told we will have the exclusive with Tino. Hopefully he will shed some light on some of these questions. I guess let's just get into what we think about, obviously, this situation. I mean, there's nothing to debate in terms of what Tino did was wrong.
Right.
If you cheat, you cheat. I have very little sympathy for cheaters in the sense that like it's to me it's a black and white issue. Yeah. Right?
Totally.
As someone who's been cheated on, like you either did or you don't. There's no excuses for it. That being said, I don't like, I have friends who have cheated. I mean, do I think it's a low character moment for anyone who cheats? Sure. Do I think people can recover? Do I think they can still share their side of the story of why they were in the emotional space? Yes. Does that absolve them for what they did? No. But I think that's where I struggled with this episode. I wanted Tino to get a chance to speak. And that didn't seem to me like Rachel was all that interested in actually hearing what he had to say.
I felt like he spoke quite a bit, but he just wasn't really saying anything new. It was like he kind of kept saying the same thing. And I think that's why she was getting frustrated.
What did you want him to say?
It just didn't come off completely genuine to me. It felt like I need to stay calm. I need to protect what bit I have of my image and reputation left. Like it just, I don't know. It didn't feel genuine. Like you are the love of my life. I am so sorry. Like I just wasn't getting that emotion really from him. So I feel like if I were the girl in that situation looking at him, I would maybe be a little pissed off too.
I hear you. I guess, I mean, and you've been on reality TV. Yeah. I spent a lot of time watching that scene, really trying to put myself in their shoes, having been in their shoes, not necessarily like having to deal with infidelity on a reality TV setting, but just, knowing that you're walking into a landmine. I think, how can you not be super hyper aware of everything you're saying, especially Tino? I mean, so much, like, Bachelor Nation really seemed to criticize him for having the journal. And I'm thinking, what, isn't it good to journal? Isn't it good to write your thoughts? I didn't get the impression he was trying to like blame her.
They weren't positive thoughts though. It was everything he was saying that he wrote down or things that could be damaging to her character, make her look bad. And then he put it out there. So now she's supposed to forgive you for cheating and for putting this out there. And the fact that you're taking notes on things that I've said, it just... that was a little icky.
I mean, I guess, but like, aren't you supposed to be able to like explain yourself in terms of, again, I think there's a huge difference between you acknowledging that you were wrong, but I do think you have the opportunity to, like, as Tino tried to articulate, he was just trying to explain his state of mind and why he made the very bad mistake that he acknowledged he made. So it's just like, I think people should be allowed to have a space to, if they want to know. And Rachel seemed to want to know, like, why did this happen?
Yeah.
Why did she kept asking why? And, you know, like if I'm again, this is not in any way, Tino's wrong. That's not up for debate. That's black and white. He cheated. He's wrong. But he wanted to explain why he made the mistake, not to justify it, but to explain it. And I think there's a difference. And I think you have the right to be able to say that. Is that, I mean, the whole night was icky.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole situation was icky.
Totally.
You know, but if I'm just trying to put myself in their shoes, it would be damaging for me to hear someone, and again, they seem to disagree about this point. Very much another he said, she said situation. Like, did she say she's giving the ring back? Like, what was the actual words? Because they very much seem to disagree on what was said.
Mm-hmm.
But if what Tino claims he heard is accurate, that would hurt me. Again, not justifying the cheating, but I would understand why he was hurt by that. And does he not have a right to say that?
Well, of course he has a right to say that. He has a right to be hurt, but he lost her respect when he cheated on her. And I feel like she just, I don't know. It's like, I mean, what could he say to make that better when he's admitting that he did it?
I mean, I don't know if he could say anything to make it better.
Right.
I guess I'm just curious what Rachel actually wanted. It didn't feel like Rachel actually was looking for answers to me. It seemed like Rachel she was rightfully upset and rightfully hurt, but she seemed to want to, you know, take that out on Tino. And I guess she has the right to do that, but I don't know if it's productive. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you just want to yell at them, then yell at them.
Don't you feel like they probably already had those conversations though over the phone, like off camera?
I mean, if they did, then that would make what happened at live to me even ickier.
Yeah.
Because then she's just like yelling at him again. Shipping season is upon us. Summer is ending. It will be Christmas before you know it. So if you are a small business owner getting ready to ramp up for that busy holiday season, for all those online orders you're going to be getting, think of ShipStation, because if you don't have ShipStation, you're not running your business as efficiently as it can be. ShipStation is helping businesses of all sizes, especially ones that operate on the internet, doing more e-commerce sales, helping you get the best shipping prices that are often reserved for Fortune 500 companies. Easily compare carriers, rates, and delivery times to get the most out of everything you send. Get great insights to your orders so that you can provide the best possible customer service to your customers. It integrates with almost all e-commerce platforms like Shopify, super easy integration. Over 130,000 companies have grown their e-commerce businesses with ShipStation. I've been using ShipStation with Natural Habits since its inception. 98% of companies that use ShipStation for 1 year become customers for life. I mean, there is really no reason not to get ShipStation if you are a small business owner that sells online. You can ship UPS, USPS, FedEx, whatever it is. If you sell on Amazon, Etsy, eBay, again, Spotify, it works with all of those. Make it easy to manage all your shipping from one single dashboard. Super easy. Go to ShipStation.com, try it today. Sign up with promo code VIALL for a free 60-day trial. Free 60 days. Start today and get set up before the biggest shipping season of the year. That's 2 months free. Visit ShipStation.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and type in code VIALL. Figs. The scrubs that every healthcare worker wants.
Oh my God.
And needs. And should have.
It's like they look amazing. They feel amazing. Their durability is amazing. It is truly just like, if you are a frontline worker, you are doing a lot of hard work. You deserve to be as comfortable as possible.
Yeah. And if you know someone, they deserve to be as comfortable as possible. Get it as a gift. Get yourself a gift, or tell someone to buy you a gift. You deserve to be wearing Figs. Like Amanda said, ridiculously soft. They have proprietary 4-way stretch fabric. They have all different types of styles that wick away moisture, and anti-wrinkle fabric, anti-odor. Easy to customize with text and icon embroidery. And again, all these different styles so you look good. I mean, also, if you're not a doctor that is really comfortable pajamas, like I love wearing my Figs. Head to wearfigs.com and use code VIALL and get 15% off your first order. That's WEARFIGS.com, promo code VIALL. Pick up a set in one of the new fall colors for a look that's 100% awesome for all season long. Their super popular core scrubs never go out of style and are easy to mix and match.
I think like in the very beginning when Rachel was like, so you start, and he was like, you want me to start? Like, I think that was kind of indicative of it, where like, I think Tino was waiting to see where Rachel was at. Like, I think it was clear that Tino was waiting to be like, do I have a chance or not? Because I don't want to like grovel if I don't have a shot, both because it's embarrassing and also maybe because I don't want to be putting pressure on you if your decision is made. Yeah, but I think with Rachel, I think in that moment, she needed him to be definitive. I think if there was any chance for him to say more or be in any way redeemable, he needed to come in like definitively, like, I am so sorry, and kind of catering to more of like validating where she was at and like apologizing in a way that was like significant to her. And I think the second he didn't do that, it just like went off the fucking rails.
Yeah. I guess to me, I feel like if either of them sincerely had the hope of reconciliation, that never had a chance because it was filmed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't going to happen in that conversation. I think her mind was already made up.
Even if it wasn't, what I'm saying is like the fact that it was filmed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't blame either of them for not being their best self in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine like trying to deal with such an emotionally like hurtful or taxing event, and whether it's Tino who knows he fucked up and knows he's like wrong, and then Rachel who's heartbroken over being betrayed.
And who feels embarrassed after having this season of constant rejection and constantly feeling like she had so many moments this season that were so challenging for her. She was already in the position where she was inherently compared against another person. And then time and time again, it was clear she was interpreting all the events as like a rejection and an affront to her ego, and then to get cheated on, it's like you just hear how that fulfills the toxic narrative that she was scared about the whole time. So it's like no wonder she was like,
I guess I just think like the fact that it was filmed, neither of them had like I said, I don't think neither of them had a chance to be their best self, and I think they both needed to be their best self to listen to one another, to let the other person speak, let them finish, acknowledge what the other person said. Like, again, like Tino was wrong, but like if Rachel didn't want reconciliation, she also could have just led with that too. Like otherwise you're just basically putting him on a fucking, you're just
putting him on blast.
You're crucifying him.
Yeah, you're just like, hey, show up so I can yell at you. It's just, all right. Like he fucked up, but like at what point, is it like, it just got to the point where I think whether it was the show or Rachel or Tino, it was too much. I don't know. I mean, again, this is not in any way what Tino did was wrong, but I do have a lot of empathy for both Rachel, everyone, Erich, Gabby, Rachel, Tino, like as someone who's tried to make a relationship work after that show and airing. It's a nightmare. It is, you are starting, I think I've told this story before, but I was having a conversation with a friend years back. It was, actually Vanessa and I were out to dinner with these friends, and she was talking to her friends and I was talking to him, and he was really curious, and we were just talking about it, and I was just talking about like this, trying to make a relationship work. And he's like, man, it's like you're starting a game in the 7th inning, and I'm like, yeah, no. Like, it's like you're starting a game 7th inning down 9 runs. Like you have such a disadvantage of, I mean, think about it. Your relationship starts with all these heightened emotions. You're engaged, but you barely know each other. And then you don't get to hang out with one another. You immediately have to start a relationship long distance. And then you have to watch each other do all this shit on TV. And then you have to deal with outside opinions and critics and point of views. It's like, it really never stands a chance, right? And so I have a ton of empathy for both of all the people involved. And so, like, again, while it doesn't make what Tino did wrong, I am curious about some of the questions that we have in terms of what were their issues, what did they talk about? Like, there wasn't a break, but it sure sounded like he felt very insecure, as he acknowledged, about their relationship.
Well, and I think that another element of that was, even in addition to their back and forth of giving the ring back, not wanting to wear the ring. When we saw Gabby come to the house and talk to Rachel before Tino even entered the space, she said something to Rachel along the lines of like, and
he's going to say
you weren't on a break, or he can't say that you were broken up, which Sheena pointed out as like,
seemed like some
why
coaching.
would she bring that up?
Unless Rachel
had
said to
something
her
at the beginning, like when she first told her.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that conversation was very much staged. You know what I'm saying? Like it was filmed. They probably were talking before, and then they had Gabby walk in, you know, or not.
They
but
were like, see, they're friends. We weren't pitting them against each other. I'll see them.
I mean, like, but she obviously was operating with information before she had that conversation, and it did seem a little bit.
Because, Rachel said Gabby was the first person I called.
Yeah.
And so it was like, she clearly like called Gabby and was like, I mean, we were sort of on a break, but like that doesn't make this, like I didn't think he was actually gonna,
did she say something along those lines?
It kind of sounded like.
It's also so interesting because it feels like, was it a break or was it a test?
Yeah, I don't know. But
I guess breaks are inherently kind of tests of relationships.
I don't believe in breaks. So if we're on a break, you're broken up. But Tino said they weren't on a break, so that's not really up for discussion. Even Tino said that they weren't. But there clearly seemed to be
like a disconnect,
a huge disconnect between what they were going through. And clearly Tino handled it in the worst possible way. And instead of resolving whatever disconnect he had with Rachel, he chose to do the weaker thing, and that is to give in to whatever temptation and finding comfort with someone else that he shouldn't have. And again, he acknowledged that. I mean, it's one of those things. Like, how much should we pile on Tino? I guess is the question. Like, how much should we?
I guess we need more details.
Yeah,
because it feels like in the relationship, there's like the you, the me, the us, and I feel like we know like the Tino, the Rachel, the them, and like we know the Tino thing. Like he kissed a girl. It's unclear how much contact they had, what that looked like leading up to it. It's also clear that he did not tell her for 4 days, which I think was a big part of her.
And she even said, like, it wasn't even the full truth. At that point, it was this little, we were texting, and it, like, kept building, which automatically leads to mistrust because it's like, well, are you going to turn around next week and tell me that you actually slept with her?
Right.
Yeah. I want to get clarity on that because there were just a lot of broken, it did come across that way, but I'd like to know if that actually was the case.
Well, and to Sheena's point too, this whole thing could be so edited. Like we don't know.
Yeah, you never not the live,
but
everything that's happened before. There's obviously a lot of stuff we didn't see from the conversations that didn't happen in that one scene sitting down. But then that conversation, it could have been 2 hours. We saw less than 15 minutes of it.
Because it felt like he stood up and left the house every 2 seconds, but it could have been 30 minutes later.
Exactly.
Oh, it was 100% 30 minutes later.
Yeah, there's no way he was getting up that quick, then sitting back down, and then getting back up. And
also, who was his phone call with?
I was wondering that too. And he was smart enough to take off his mic.
Probably a parent.
Yeah.
And again, like it's just this is like I feel like. We're trying to have nuance to this conversation because like I truly have no sympathy for cheaters. Like I'm someone who's been cheated on, but there was just something very icky about what I feel like what we watched. And, I feel like the punishment should meet the crime, and Rachel has every right to be hurt and sad. But like that whole filming, and like, you could just tell that Tino was literally trying to survive that conversation. I know like Bachelor Nation had a good laugh when he said, just let me out of here. But I felt a lot of empathy for him as someone who's been in that world. And we're so critical of saying like, oh, these people are here to be famous or whatever. But like, these people don't know what they signed up for,
Not all, but some definitely do.
Sure. I think, in fairness, I think the men know far less.
Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of guys who sincerely are like, I really didn't, I did not know what I was getting into.
But
sure.
I literally do your research. It's so easy to find out what you signed up for. There's so much footage of it on Hulu.
But
I'm sorry.
Hey, to play devil's advocate, then you end up being one of the guys who's villainized because he did his research and he took notes.
Exactly.
And he is trying to be strategic. It can go both ways.
And also, I'm sorry, and I've said this 100 times before, doing your research on The Bachelor until you are living that, you truly don't know how fucked up things can get. I pity anyone who finds themselves trapped in this world, having no control and having the weight of the internet bashing and crucifying every little choice and mistake they make. I don't care who they are, man, woman, or whatever. I'm just saying I have a ton of empathy for all the people who do that. But if you want to debate who knows more about the show than others, like I truly, regardless if it's a man or a woman, I think everyone truly doesn't know what they signed up for until they live that experience.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I mean, that's something that when you watch the show, like me as a fan of the show, I've watched it and be like, oh my God, I want to do that one day back when I was single. But until you are in that situation, I mean, I don't think you could even try to prepare yourself for what would come up, because you never know what's going to come up with the group of people who are there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a nightmare for everyone.
Do we feel like that can be said of almost all reality shows? Like, do you feel that way? If I, as like a fan, like I wouldn't know what your day-to-day life is and how strenuous it would be to actually be on the show.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, and that's, I think, the reason why so many of us reality TV people become friends is because we get it. Like, I met Rachel and Gabby at their premiere party in Marina Del Rey a couple days before the premiere, and we ended up going out that night, the next night, and I hung out with them and got drinks and got to get to know them. And so then watching it, I personally was watching it with slightly different eyes because I got to know them more from just watching their season. But even when I was hanging out with them, I'm like, oh my God, like, it's like, I get it when people say like, oh, I feel like I know you, because with reality TV, you are yourself. And I mean, both wonderful women, so much fun. But yeah, until you are in that situation, I feel like you can't possibly understand. You can think, you can get advice and think you know what you're signing up for, but once, even after you film it, oh my God, that went so great. Like, there'll be a scene, I'm like, that was so much fun. And then you watch it back and you're like, wait a second, that's not fun now watching it back.
Yeah.
So yeah, you never know.
And also, like, I think some of these legacy shows like The Bachelor or Vanderpump that have, you know, we talk about this all the time, this the passion from the fan base. It's a blessing and a curse. Like, the blessing is people care.
Yeah.
And they're invested in your life. The curse is, like, you know, if you step in it, there's this zero grace for, like, you know, people aren't treated like humans, you know, in this world. And while I don't have much sympathy for cheaters, like, I have remorse for everyone who makes mistakes, and people who are willing to acknowledge their mistake and own up to it and apologize. I'm willing to, like, you know, forgive them and hope that they learn, because we've all made mistakes. And in Bachelor Nation, it feels like if you fuck up, people will never let it go. And I'm sure Tino's DMs are filled with, you should kill yourself. You know, I bet it's just...
It's not just Bachelor Nation. I mean, I still get stuff like that.
I mean, that's what
I'm a home wrecking whore 16 years later. And I'm like, come on, people. New material.
It reminds me of when we interviewed Sarah and Nippy from The Vow, when they were talking about with like cults, how it's like the recruiters, where it's like everybody, I think it's kind of shocking, like interviewing people from Bachelor Nation, like seeing how like intelligent and down to earth and like competent and cool so many people are, where it's like, I'm sure that's also part of where people have this severe lack of empathy, is because they don't understand that, like, in the moment, the reason people are falling so hard is because the people involved in it are like genuinely like another human who's like, I know this is fucking crazy, but like, we're in it together.
Yeah. I like something. Someone sent this to me. This is from the Instagram account MC Counseling Center. And they wrote, I suspect tonight's breakup conversation was probably more triggering and cringy for most viewers than it was entertaining and dramatic. I have often struggled with the exploitation of human emotions for the sake of entertainment, but we have worked with the understanding that those folks sign up for this. But I struggle when it goes beyond traumatizing just the cast members and becoming traumatizing and glorifying for unhealthy relationships behaviors for all of the public. As humans, we are going to identify more with one person's side of a breakup than the other based on our own lived experiences. But from a completely objective and specifically trained perspective, neither Rachel nor Tino carry themselves in a skillful way. I worry that the inevitable media spin of polarizing who is more correct or justified when neither are will do no good for the way we conceptualize breakups, relationships, or conflict in general. And I honestly couldn't agree more with that. Because I think the truth is, yeah, I don't think either of them handled it brilliantly. I have a ton of empathy and grace for both of them, especially having to have both those conversations, one being recorded on camera, the other being live on camera. And then, yeah, I mean, this whole show is based off, I mean, the show is edited to try to elicit reactions from people. That's what makes it entertaining. They want you to identify, you know, with one of the characters on the show. You know, it's just like generally your favorite is someone that you relate to or you identify with. And when that person is wronged, you tend to take their side. Or if you were wronged or cheated on, you will take their side and you will be biased towards them and maybe not want to see the nuance. And again, like, while cheating is wrong, I was really hoping to have a more kind of productive conversation between the two and try to find, you know, some answers. I mean, you know, I guess hopefully we'll get some answers on a podcast, but it felt kind of icky where it seemed to be like a pile on as opposed to, and that's why I just didn't like, you know, him trying to apologize and him trying to just, you know, give an answer to why he made the mistake he did. And then Rachel just kept saying, I guess I didn't understand what Rachel was saying or why she wouldn't let him speak.
There are a few products on Hungry Root that I feel anger every time I go to a grocery store and can't find because they're exclusive to them. Obviously, almonds, the chickpea almond cookie dough, everybody knows and loves that. The green chili salsa is so good. I cannot describe why it is so amazing. I got it as a part of a package for a whole fajita dish because the nice thing about Hungry Root is that they send you groceries that you can craft into these lovely meals. They give you the recipe for it, but they're also groceries that you can use as standalone ingredients. This green chili salsa is so good. It is so good. Do yourself a favor. Give it a try. If you want to feel like a domestic goddess.
And I've never felt like that before in my life.
Hungry Root's your ticket.
Well, if you want to feel like a domestic goddess, or if you're just trying to eat a little healthier, feel a little better, and just don't have quite the time that you want, think of Hungry Root. Hungry Root is helping people who still want to have high quality meals, who don't have time to maybe just grocery shop and things like that, or do all the prep, 20, 30 minutes of prep for all their meals. Super simple, easy to follow. It's all like ready to go. Hungry Root is the easiest way to get fresh, high quality food delivered to your door. You've got healthy groceries and simple recipes all in one place. Take a fun short quiz and Hungry Root will get to know you, your goals, and how you like to eat. Are you gluten-free? Do you like sweets? Etc., etc. They'll keep it top of mind as they start building your cart. Hungry Root will recommend groceries that they think you'll love. Take their suggestions or choose what you want from fresh produce, high quality meat, seafood, pantry staples, healthy snacks, sweets, and much more. 30% off your first delivery and free veggies for life. Free veggies for life. What more can you ask for?
That's your mom's dream.
There you go. Just go to hungryroot.com/VIALL. Get 30% off your first delivery and get free veggies for life. That's hungryroot.com/VIALL. Don't forget to use our link so they know we sent you.
I think she also kind of needed to say more, but then wasn't, because when she kept being like, there are other issues, personal issues. Do you want to go there? Do you want to bring that up? I don't think they were her personal issues because I don't think she would have phrased it in that way. So,
well, even still, that made me feel even worse for him because it was like, maybe he didn't want to bring it up. But it's just like, if you get cheated on and you have a non-negotiable with cheating, it's like, all right, you cheated on me. Like, let's break up. If you want to consider reconciliation and then have a conversation to see if there can be that reconciliation, you have to allow a conversation to happen. You have to be willing to hear them out.
Yeah, I don't know that we can say whether or not she was willing, because I think it just started going so badly that it was like, I think the whole theme of it was like this unsurmountable deficit.
I don't think she was.
And how many
willing.
times did he walk away?
Yeah.
Well, according to my therapist, that's actually the healthy thing to do.
Walk away? And leave the when you are in an argument with someone for over 10 or 15 minutes, take some space.
Best thing to do is, because Darlene has told me that you go to your childlike mental state, and so the best thing for you to do in a situation is you both leave the room, calm down, and come back, because then you can be a bit more in your kind of mature emotional state of mind. Because when you start getting into the when you start cutting each other off and you start reacting and you start raising your voice and you start and like they weren't listening to one another. They were both trying to get out what they wanted to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could tell it was like now like, oh, you're gonna say this, I'm gonna say this. Like it was so clear that it was combative. 2 individuals being like, America is gonna watch this, and now this is a liability the way this conversation is going down, and I need to like defend myself. Not I'm trying to.
And I think like I had texted some friends who were also watching on the East Coast of like, this feels so acty to me. It feels presentational or acting. And everyone agreed with me. And I was like, so does that mean that they're not being genuine? Or does it just literally mean, there are 4 cameras facing us during what would typically be a private moment between a couple. So, and we all know it's going to be replayed and we're going to be sitting on a couch watching it replay. Like it's so many things going on in your brain at the same time.
Yeah. I feel like Tino was trying to survive it, knowing he fucked up and he was wrong. And it felt like Rachel wanted to punish him for hurting her.
I also think the conversation was probably really triggering to Rachel. Like even talking about how like I think walking away, I think that's totally like really obviously very sage advice coming from a professional. I think Rachel, we've seen so many times back to Clayton, she has this narrative like I will fight for people and I can't stand it when people stop fighting for me. And I bet in that moment when he walked away, it felt like he was like not fighting for her.
And also we've talked about the comparison between Rachel and Gabby so often throughout the season. She's set up to fail in that way. And what did Gabby tell her that Erich did for her? He's fought for me every second. He's fought for this relationship. She's coming off of watching her quote unquote best friend having a guy fight for her. And Tino's off here ripping his shirt off, pulling his mic off and making a phone call.
I know, but like it was, what do they say about comparison? It's the thief of joy.
Yeah.
So,
but it's just helping like contextualize why her reaction to him stepping away might be.
Yeah.
I have empathy for both of them. I don't, while Tino is 100% wrong in the cheating, I didn't like how that all played out tonight for either of them. And while I understand Rachel has every right to be hurt and she has every right to be mad and angry, I like Rachel had nothing to do with the Avon thing, but I fucking hated that.
That was odd.
It just, to me, it was like
and to have Tino sit there and watch.
It was awkward, but
it was great TV, but it was
personally, yes, great TV. I love Avon. And so I was hoping for something like this. So when he came out, I was like, yes, Avon, Team Avon, let's go. But then I was like, oh, Tino's just sitting there. And awkward.
It felt performative and it felt like a pile
obviously, production like set it up with Avon. He didn't get there on his own and know where to go. He had a call time.
He said yes. He agreed to do it.
Yeah, because maybe he still really has feelings for Rachel. He seemed like he was genuinely falling in love with her. He maybe wasn't all the way there yet. He wasn't ready for a proposal yet, as most people shouldn't be after knowing someone for so short of a time.
It reeked of a Walmart version of Hannah Brown and Tyler Cameron trying to reunite at AFR. And I suspect we'll get some they might try to drag us out.
Be spotted together a few times in public.
Or do some cryptic Instagram post and it won't go anywhere. And then when we'll finally get to answer questions, they'll just say, they won't say anything to let us continue to think there's something, and eventually it'll be nothing.
It's Kyle and Deepti.
It's Kyle and 100%. It's Kyle and Deepti. That's exactly what it'll be. And I just think that's icky.
I loved it for Rachel in that moment, just gonna say. The look in her face and her eyes, it looked like she had happy tears, like, oh my God, wait, this guy's still here for me.
No, I get that. It's just the eye for the eye of it all. You have the right to be hurt, but I don't know.
I just think it's when you cheat on someone, you put Crazy Town in the GPS. So it doesn't matter that she was driving the conversation. The GPS was telling her to go to Crazy Town because Tino programmed it that way.
No, I get it. I understand why she's upset. And I, as someone who's been cheated on, I didn't handle myself the best way. And I wanted, I had feelings of revenge and feelings of, revenge. You want to get back at the person who hurt you. I empathize with that feeling. But watching it play out on national television just was kind of gross.
Yeah, it was. Not fun.
I don't know. My heart went out to Avon because I don't feel like they gave him his proper moment on the show. If we're gonna call them,
it's awkward for him too.
It was even talking about the Tyler and Hannah Brown example. Hannah was out there by herself. The couch was open. Tyler came. They sat down next to each other. We had cameras on him. Even standing on the corner of the stage, he has no actual close-up angle. It just kind of felt like he was hovering, Tino's watching. The whole thing was just
it could have
clumsy.
been planned very last minute. He could have flown in 3 hours ago, barely made it there in time for live television. And they're like, we don't even have a camera set up for this angle, but like he needs to come out now because this conversation needs to wrap up. Like when it's live TV, I feel like they weren't prepared for this too far ahead. And so they worked with what they got. They're like, okay, we can get this camera on Avon. We can get this one still capturing Tino's awkward face. And then
Tino.
I don't know like where we're going to go with it. Cause I mean, I don't think Rachel was planning on walking off the stage in that moment. You know, Tino should have left. Gabby would have come back.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was like more of a spur of the moment. Okay, this is gonna happen now. Avon's available now, and let's just do it.
Yeah, I say there's a 50-50 chance Avon had no idea that Tino was going to be on stage.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tino did handle it well, to his credit.
He did.
Because if he left, you know they would have gotten a camera of it. And there's no way for him to leave without it look like he's storming out. And like he like took it like a goddamn champ.
He really did.
Yeah.
I mean, and dude, when you got cameras in your face, you got a live audience, like, I mean, hats off. He did handle that.
So talk about his entrance, Tino's silent entrance with the
God.
2 claps.
And then this like slow
2 claps. And then there was like someone sitting next to those people like, do not fucking clap that, man. Going back to the beginning of the episode, like right when Tino and Rachel got engaged, and then they had a shot of Rachel's dad and Rachel's mom, and there was a girl right behind them just like
Big Tony's like, shut the fuck up.
Like,
you don't even know.
Like, that's the man I'm
about
about
to
to
go down.
That's just a diehard fan who doesn't watch spoilers, and she's just like living through every moment.
She has no idea that they've broken up.
Do you think she tapped Big Tony on the shoulders like, yeah, sorry about that. I had no idea.
It's like, sorry.
Right?
Oops. I don't know. Is there anything left to talk about the Tino and Rachel?
We will get our answers next week. I think that's the important part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to say this even though I shouldn't, but like you don't need to be like DMing Tino or Rachel and sharing your thoughts and in their DMs.
I fucking hate bullies.
Gabby and Erich.
Yay!
Shout out.
Happy for them.
Yeah.
Thank God we got a love story. Thank God we got
That's why they got all this stuff out in the beginning.
I was worried about AFR. Honestly, I thought like maybe when we were discussing current events, they would be on the rocks or they were taking a break, and it was a breath of relief.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's not even like the biggest. We're just like happy for them. I mean, we need to discuss, I guess, the text messages.
I feel like the central point of that is that he told Gabby before the screenshots came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that was like the thesis of it, was that like, yeah, he fucked up. Gabby's like, you're an asshole. But like, because it was the way he like navigated that situation that made it a non-issue.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised they didn't like give any space or acknowledge the fact that we saw Erich's dad at Hometowns dying of cancer.
Yeah.
He has now since passed away.
Oh.
That hasn't been acknowledged. But again, like I don't know what actually happened. Erich says he led her on, and if he did, that was wrong. But like my understanding is, you know, the full context of that story is here's this guy who won, his dad's dying of cancer. Mm-hmm. He lost his job around this time, and he meets this girl. He starts dating her. He's been dating her for a month, and all of a sudden, ABC, The Bachelor, calls up and says, "Hey, do you want to come on?" And I could imagine why someone in Erich's position is thinking, this might be a literal sign from God that like maybe I need like a fresh start to my life. I just like everything is going to shit. My dad is literally dying. I lost a job I don't even like. I don't know what to do with my life. He's like in his late 20s. That can be a very scary time in your life if you don't feel settled. And so like he went on the show and like here he is. He's dated this woman who it sounds like he liked, and it sounds like he addressed it with her right away. I mean, I saw the text messages, like what kind of, it's like he tried to be upfront with her, and it sounds like he could have done better. And then I hate the exes coming forward and posting texts and screenshots.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm not saying Erich was perfect. He acknowledged he led her on, and maybe he was a jerk, but like, I'm sorry, like, I just going to these Bachelor fan accounts and posting text messages that aren't verified or anything like that. And it sounds like this is a real person, but we've heard the stories of lives being ruined by other people with text messages coming forward in Bachelor Nation.
And they treat it like this is like the Panama Papers. Like they're publishing like important life-changing information that's going to change the world. And it's like no, you're upset. And that's human, but...
Yeah, you're upset. And like there is nothing worse than the person you dated breaking up with you and then eventually breaking up with you, go on The Bachelor, or breaking up with you and eventually being on The Bachelor.
Yeah, and doing well. Oh,
that
that's
must
tough.
suck. That must be literally the worst thing in the world. I get it. But like... Also, people
I think the damning text was, though, he texted her once he was back from filming.
Sure.
Like, he ended things in March.
Gabby has a right to be pissed about that.
Well, I think that was, like, why I was like, okay, well, at that point, you've left. You're obviously engaged, which we just watched. Why are you texting her on July 11th saying, I'm so sorry, Amanda. What I did was terrible. I don't expect you to ever forgive me. I just want you to know I think about you all the time and you really deserve the best. I won't ever forgive myself. I hope you find happiness and everything you deserve. I think about you all the time and you're an engaged man.
Definitely should not have written that.
I think, but as a man who was maybe dumb in that moment, not saying all men are dumb, but like being dumb to say those words, I don't think he meant it in that way. I think he was trying to save face and maybe being like, please don't publish what I said before, because he reread the messages. And that was just kind of his way of being like, I'm sure he does think about her all the time, and that, is this chick gonna throw me under the bus? Is she like, he's got to be thinking about that all the time.
Or maybe he's not even thinking about that. Maybe he's empathizing with the fact that she might have been heartbroken and he felt really bad and wanted to reach out and say he was sorry.
Yeah.
Isn't that possible?
Yeah. I don't think there was anything necessarily wrong in him reaching out to her. And I think even Gabby could respect that, knowing what he said before and being like, okay, it's not like he said like, I would love to see you. Can we meet up? Like something like that.
Yeah, like sometimes you say things you don't mean during breakups. Yeah. Like, I'll miss you, or, you know.
Or I'm just doing this for, like, I don't think it's real. I'm just doing this for a job opportunity.
Or whatever, yeah. And so, and then I wasn't doing, like, when I first went on The Bachelor, people were like, do you think you're going to find love? And I was like, absolutely not. And I ended up really liking it. You don't know what you're, like, you don't fucking know. No one goes on The Bachelor now, especially nowadays, and actually thinks they're going for love. And every season, a couple of people are surprised by the fact that they develop real feelings. But, you know, like, to sit there and go back and, like, crucify Erich because he was dating some girl and unexpectedly got, like, probably scouted or reached out to because some friends signed him up for the show. Yeah. And then while he's dealing with the death of a father and the loss of a job and decides to go on, I mean, like, we're going to crucify him? Like, I don't know. I just feels gross. And it feels more gross that whoever this person was, like, you know.
Like, what does she have to gain from this? You know, you just look bitter.
Hurt people kind of thing. She was hurt and she wanted revenge. And it was like the timing of it. It's like the further he went, and now it came out right when she knew, like, well, oh shit, Erich's the only one left. Yeah. He wins. The motherfucker wins. He's engaged. Oh my God.
Brutal for your ex to win.
Yeah, I get that. But like the fact, I mean.
But totally identifies what the motive was behind it.
It's so transparent. You know, and
when she put in her statement, like, it was because of the photos from the yearbook that came out. And she put in the statement, like, well, I saw that the photos from the yearbook were posted, and then Erich posted an apology, and it reminded me of another apology I got recently. Like, that was what she used as kind of her lead-in.
Like, that didn't need to be public.
We don't know.
Yeah. Again, when exes of Bachelor cast people, I hated it when Tayshia's ex did it to her. I hate it when someone did it to Peter Weber. I mean, the only person I kind of sided with Jed's ex, and I've since almost taken that back because I'm Team Hannah Brown now. But they were like literally dating.
Yeah.
You know, there was that message of like, wait for me at the dock or some shit like that. You know, like that. Ooh. You know, like.
But also, people go on this show not expecting to actually develop feelings. So they think, you know, I'm just going to go on, have this opportunity. Like, don't worry. Like, just be here for me when I get back. And then it was like, oh shit, wait, I kind of like this person. Now what do I got to do with this one still back home
and if you
waiting for me on the dock?
If you want to compare the Erich...
It's been a long time on the dock.
And go back to the
pack a blanket.
Go back to Jed, right? If you remember, like I was very critical of Jed. It wasn't so much that like, it's that he kind of kept being dishonest about it. Like from what I gathered, he just like, he didn't really address it. And he kind of would just hoped it went away. Go back to Erich, yeah. Should he have not have texted this girl after the fact? But he at least tried to, like, he got his phone back. Holy shit, I'm engaged. You know, he probably thought he would reach out to this girl after the show when he went on the show and just say, hey, like, I'm sorry I did that. It was a crazy experience. But like, if you want to like grab a drink, let's grab a drink. And she probably would have said yes. And then he got on the show. He's in love with Gabby. And he reached out there and tried to like at least address it, where Jed didn't. The girl was just like, he ran into me and was like, hey, how you doing? And like pretended they weren't dating. Yeah. You know? And like, so if that's true, then I feel like Erich tried his best to do the right thing.
Absolutely.
Even though he didn't do it perfectly. And I'm not saying he didn't have to apologize. And again, he acknowledged he let her on, so he should apologize for that.
I have a question for the room. What qualities do you look for as indicators of whether or not this relationship will make it? Because you spoke about how big a deficit you're coming at. And I think usually we think about individuals, like we think about like someone like Michelle, who's just like the most like poised, emotionally intelligent person in the whole wide world. And still like that doesn't mean that her relationship was able to grow in the soil it was planted. So I'm curious for you, like when you're looking at Gabby and Erich, what kinds of things would you take as an indication that this relationship might have some longevity?
I think the fact that he did fight for her so hard the whole time, because he was one of my favorites from the beginning. I liked him and I liked Nate. And I cried when Nate went home. I was like, oh my God, I don't usually get like actually emotional watching this show. It's entertaining. But I was like, damn, like that they had something real. And the fact that it was the fact that, you know, he's a parent, and it was like, it's not that we don't like each other, we're not falling in love, it's that she wasn't ready for, to me personally, the scariest job in the fucking world is being a mom. It's terrifying. And for her upbringing to, you know, have that. And so I feel like with Erich being there throughout the whole time and just really showing like, I'm here for you. And even I felt so bad that conversation went so south when he told her, you know, like when he saw her after her other overnight or whenever who went home. And then it just got kind of convoluted. And she was like, he didn't expect the conversation to go that way. And I liked that he wanted to see her. I always like when the person goes and knocks on the hotel room or like, you know, talks to a producer and is like, hey, I want to say something to them like after their group date. Can I sneak over? Because not many people do that, whether it's not allowed or whatever. But the fact that he did that, I was like, yes, Erich, fight for your girl. So
initiative is so hot.
Totally.
It's the hottest quality in a partner when they like take initiative for everything.
And like, remember at the like boxing group date when Rachel's men were all there watching the whole fight and not one of them even made eye contact with her. Like that's got to feel so shitty as a person where it's like, they're not even trying to look at me. They're not even trying to get my attention. So for Erich to constantly let Gabby know, I'm here for you. I'm fighting for you. I don't want you with anyone else. Like, I just want to reiterate that, like, please pick me. I am here for you. I loved that.
Yeah, I mean, just piggybacking off of what you said, I think what I really liked about Gabby and Erich's relationship, especially towards the end, and whether it was editing or dramatic effect, but they showed them having conflict and then resolving conflict. And there was a lot of that. And that's a good sign because no relationship is without conflict. And so if what we saw on the show is accurate to their life outside of the show, I think they actually have a fighting chance. I mean, even these text messages or, you know, that they had to deal with, that's conflict. And it sounds like maybe they resolved it. You know, what we see on live isn't always what's actually going on, but I hope for them it is. And in general, I remember talking to Clayton on the phone. He called me for advice, and I didn't really know he was with Susie at the time, but I got a sense I knew he was with somebody, and I could tell he was like reading Reddit. I could tell he was reading comments, and I could tell he really cared about the person he liked. I could tell that he was worried about certain things, and he was asking me questions, and I just said, like, the only way you're going to make this work is that if you forget everything else, you stop reading this bullshit, and you truly like any relationship, whether it comes off the Bachelor in life, you have to truly just prioritize each other. You have to see yourself as a team. You have to truly say, for us to make it through, we have to want to make it through. We have to think of ourselves as a team. We have to set aside our individual goals and desires. We have to promise each other that we won't let things that don't matter get in the way. And that is so hard to do it's so hard to do in general, and it's so hard to do for everyone. And it takes a lot of maturity and selflessness. And that's why most of these relationships don't work. I mean, most of these relationships don't work because people end up picking someone they're ultimately not compatible with because they don't have enough time to actually find out who they're most compatible with. But on top of that, it's hard to do because there's so many other pressures that these couples have to face with. But it's a good sign that Erich and Gabby have showed us that they are willing to work through conflict.
Yeah, and I think you can also see just from even Gabby on Clayton's season that she's very upfront and she is a good communicator. And I feel like Erich's been very upfront with his feelings. So I feel like they have that foundation of communication, which to me personally is one of the biggest, most important things in a relationship. And so I feel like for that, like they could totally make it.
Yeah, I mean, all the things that Gabby has been through, she seems like she is really grounded, and I think she's talked about therapy.
Dude, she's awesome.
And she was so herself on the show.
Yeah.
Like there was something about the lived experience that she had that allowed her to be so authentic on the show in a way that it feels like not everyone can access in that position. So I feel like that's also a really good sign, hopefully.
Yeah, she's so likable, like genuinely in person on the show. Like she's really an awesome person.
Yeah, I really hope they make it. And I think Dancing with the Stars can be fun. I mean, Vanessa and I had a very fun experience. I know some people will criticize, the leads going on the show, but I think it can be a positive experience. I mean, truly, Dancing with the Stars for Vanessa and I was the most positive experience that we had in our entire relationship. Because it was a fun distraction.
Yeah.
I had fun doing it. She had fun being a part of it. Max and Peta were like great, and we all hung out. And I asked her to come to, I just hey, come whenever you want. And she did, and it was fun. So it's whatever you wanted to make it, So I hope Gabby includes Erich and makes him feel welcome if he wants to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And includes it. Because it can be a fun experience.
Is he from here?
Yeah, he lives in Santa Monica.
Right? Okay, yeah.
There's been speculations based on his Instagram stories, based on the way he's angling it and the background and the ceiling that he actually has been at rehearsals because it looks like the Dancing with the Stars rehearsal places. And there has been rumors that they're kind of have been living secretly together in Venice since the season wrapped. So
I believe they're both on the west side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her, Jason, and Erich.
Oh.
Yeah.
Awkward night at Bungalow.
Right?
Truly.
Wait, speaking of awkward, can we talk about the first impression rose?
Wait, the Zach of it
Bachelor?
all. That'll be a good.
Zach as Bachelor.
Yeah.
He's as good a choice as any.
It just feels like, and this is not a criticism, it's giving Ben Higgins. It's giving
you
that
love
whole,
Ben Higgins.
I love Ben Higgins, but
she does love Ben
You're
Higgins.
obsessed with Ben Higgins.
Amanda loves Ben Higgins. You heard it here first.
It's giving a Ben Higgins that I don't have a weird personal investment in. But
well, they'll always be looking for their next Ben and next Sean.
But what do you think of this choice as Bachelor? Are you excited for this season? How do we feel about this?
I really liked Zach. He seems incredibly genuine. He's, I guess, young, but he seems very emotionally mature. And so even though he's on the younger side, to me, he came across as one of the more emotionally mature men on this season.
Yeah, I don't even think I ever noticed his age until it got brought up in one of the last couple episodes.
At the fantasy suites.
Yeah.
He's a very affable.
And I was like, wait, he's only 25?
Yeah, he's a very affable, likable guy.
It's just always so shocking. I feel like maybe you relate to this. You reach certain phases of life where people either look 5 years younger than you or 10 years older than you and you're all the same age. I don't feel like we look the same age as Zach. Zach is
could
dad
show up
vibes.
to pick up and it would be they would give him a kid. I show up to pick up, they're like, oh, the nanny's here.
Yeah.
He's got a baritone voice too, and then he talks.
Yes.
He's so pure. Such a pure man.
Little teddy bear.
I do wonder if Nate got asked to be the Bachelor at all, and if he if he got asked, if he was like, I don't want to leave my kid again.
My understanding is that scandal that he was a part of ruined his chances.
Did I miss
the
something?
girlfriend?
Another girl came forward with some messages.
Okay,
I believe they were
that.
talking to him about it. I don't know how far, and I don't know for sure if that scandal actually stopped it from happening, but I don't think it helped his chances. Yeah, for Zach, I hope for Zach, if I had a chance to give him advice, I hope that he spends a lot of time, especially in the weeks prior to hometowns, and specifically prior to the Final Four, of checking in with the women. The opposite of what Clayton did, and really asking how you're doing. I would love, this would go against Grant, and it's not just Clayton's fault, because like they don't technically like it when you check in, because that eliminates drama. You know, the more you know, the more you can avoid. The less you know, the more you freak out.
Yeah.
You spiral.
You spiral. And so, but I would love it for Zach as much as he can, and they can edit out what they want, or as much as, to really check in with these women and to really ask them how they're doing, and to really see, and really, if he just spent his whole time empathizing with them, I think that we need a Bachelor that we are rooting for by the end of the season.
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened since me, and that's saying something,
I need to rewatch your season. That was a blur.
I know,
so
right?
I was like, who is this dude? Where did he come from?
I'm rooting for Zach. Brianna, first impression rose.
Oh, hell yeah.
I tweeted. I voted for her.
She stole the room.
Yeah.
Oh my
She
God.
walked out and we were all like,
She stuck that Polaroid into his jacket, and we were like,
she
real
was-
deal.
Right?
She was also the most calm
Mm-hmm.
and the most charming. Obviously, she's stunning.
Yeah.
And I would have been more like some of the other women who clearly were nervous. But she really she owned it. So
Yeah.
I'm
Funniest thing, I'm still dying laughing about it.
I know what you're going to say. It's Kat.
When we were waiting for like the results of it, and they're like going, and Kat's just giving all these weird like eye little things and movements, and Scheana in the background goes, "Look behind you," and I was like, "That's Kat's inner monologue."
Kat, I love Kat's energy. There is so much of it.
She's
It is
gonna be
overflowing.
great. Her facial reactions at every rose ceremony, like she's got to make it through at least a few of them just for the facial reactions.
Yeah.
She will
And
be
Kat,
the
if you're
female
listening,
Justin.
don't get Botox.
Oh, the
Save
female
reaction.
Break the
Justin.
fourth wall. Yeah.
the female Justin. Yeah.
I
dude.
also, when Christina walked out, I was like, immediate hometowns. There's something about her vibe,
Yeah.
the cowboy boots,
Yeah.
the whiskey.
She has it kind of like
Very
confidence.
likable.
Yeah, I could see her
Yeah.
going far.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Also, can we talk about, we were all reacting to this in the moment, how cruel it is to make him try to remember their names.
He couldn't even remember their
I
names,
know.
and we weren't on national television.
and we weren't
the
super
four
nervous.
of us, none of us could remember their
They
names.
didn't tell him that his season, like truly,
No.
like they didn't.
That
he
was
had no
just
idea.
sprung on him.
They sprung on him that he was going to meet 4 or 5 women off the bat,
5.
and then they ask him if you can remember their names.
And he's like, Balin.
I know, and then he messes
Balin.
up the one that rhymes with
On the
daily.
Balin, you see Balin.
that's not even a name.
It took longer for Jesse Palmer to say your season starts now than it did for Tino and Rachel to break up.
Yeah, they were like, we have 20 minutes. Producers in our ear just being like, just take 30 minutes.
Stretch it out.
Yeah,
Eke
stretch
it
it out.
Yeah.
They, I think they needed like another segment or two
Yeah,
for their 3 hours, but
totally.
I was surprised they didn't cut back to Rachel and Avon at some point.
Did they leave?
We wanted like a security camera footage of the
Right?
two of them just like making out in the corner.
no. they
what
probably
are Rachel and Avon doing right now?
Going to Dairy Queen.
literally not with each other, is my guess.
I don't know.
You're such a hopeless romantic.
I
Scheana's
hope
gonna
I hope
text
they're
her.
on
I
a
know I
dive
am going. I'm like, her phone's probably blowing up right now, so I'm gonna
Text her,
wait.
find out.
But
No,
I'm
no,
so
you do-
curious.
You need to text her
I'm
now.
so curious.
Can you text her now?
Texting office hours.
Should we just FaceTime her?
No.
Are you?
I
Can
don't
you think
think
of anyone Rachel wants to see less than you?
Yeah, I
Nick?
don't think she's. Don't tell her you're with me. I don't think she's thrilled with me.
Ugh. Did you know Lyndon B. Johnson used to just whip out his wiener in urinals to intimidate like foreigners and other like diplomats?
Well, aren't you supposed to when you pee?
I don't know, but he was a president.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. At first, I was like, "Ew, Lyndon," and then I'm thinking, "Wait, yeah."
In the urinal.
It was in a urinal. I mean,
like in the Oval Office, he just whips it onto the desk.
You mean he he goes up to the urinal and stands like 2 feet away?
The next one,
yeah.
the one right.
I mean, I
like...
wasn't there.
Are you getting the bubbles?
Not yet. No bubbles yet.
I'm sure she's.
I said that. I literally said, I'm sure you're getting a million texts, but just sending love. Just checking in, seeing how my girl's doing.
Well,
Can we
sending
keep
them all
LBJ
love.
into this episode?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Scheana.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. You'll have to come back. Excellent.
And let me just say, this is the first season. I didn't ask Rachel. I didn't ask Gabby. I didn't look up any spoilers for you so I could come and do this show.
Yeah, because you were.
And not have any, like...
Because when I had you on the show the first time,
I was like, I know everything. I know how it ends.
Yeah, you're like, I'm a Bachelor fan. I'm like, well, please come and recap. And then you were honest about the fact that you're spoiled. And I was like, well, I can't. We're spoiler free
next season. Yeah.
You were excellent, though. So
Thank
I hope you remain spoiler free.
Okay.
And we would love to have you back.
Yes, would love it.
Please let my audience know everything you're doing, all your podcast, your show, anything.
Yeah.
Let the people know.
I have a podcast called Shenanigans with Scheana with Dear Media. New episodes every Friday. I'm wearing some of my merch right now that's going to be coming out this fall. So stay tuned for that. And then also I have a new lash line called Viva Verano. And it's VivaVeranoLashes.com. We've got 3 styles. We're going to be making some more. And yeah.
We'll check it out.
Hell yeah.
Also,
and the wedding thing in Mexico.
Oh, yeah. I got married. Yes.
How's Brock?
And my vlog. Yeah. So every Wednesday we do new YouTube vlogs. And I'm posting my wedding this week. So you guys will get to see
Check
that.
it out.
Yeah.
Also, I have a book coming out on the 4th of October. It's called Don't Text Your Ex Happy Birthday. It's available for pre-order now. Just go to viallfiles.com. I think it's an excellent book.
I can't wait to read it.
There's some good in there.
I actually wrote it. For all of you Bachelor fans who want to make fun of it, please pre-order the book. But also, I really think there's some helpful tidbits. Any relationship you might be in, I think there's something for everyone in there, especially people going through it, dating, trying to get over someone, or maybe you're not sure if you should stay in a relationship. Maybe you're not sure if you should move in with your partner. Maybe you're just having trouble with fuckboys and players or situationships, whatever it is. Everything I wrote about, I learned the hard way in the hopes that you guys wouldn't have to. So I hope you give it a chance.
I also got to say, the cover's kind of giving Ryan Reynolds. Am I right?
Well, he calls himself the Walmart version of Ryan Reynolds.
I don't call myself that.
You
I
don't?
was called that on my version.
Allie calls you that.
Apparently, Allie calls me that. That is what their Twitter called me that.
Wow. Okay. See, I've never even seen that, but I looked right now.
Yeah.
I was like, looks like Ryan Reynolds on the cover.
It's cute though, right?
It is.
Isn't it cute?
I'm taking it and I'm going to read it. And I'll post about it and let you guys know what I think.
And if you know someone else who I can replace Allie with, I'm just kidding.
This is gonna be my last episode of Viall.
It's been real.
But you talked about Lyndon Johnson, and that's not nothing.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Don't forget, tomorrow we have
girlfriend.
Harry Jowsey talking about his breakup.
His newest breakup.
His newest breakup. We'll be talking all about the Adam Levine scandal. Love is Blind. Lots to cover. Don't miss it. It's a great episode. Next week, Tino. The following, Jason. Ask Nick every Monday. You don't want to miss it. We're trying to bring you the best show possible. Rate, review, tell your friends. See you tomorrow. No, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. But before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos like our Mondays Ask Nick, especially if you're looking for some relationship stories and relationship advice, as well as our Wednesday interviews with your favorite celebrities and experts. See you next time.